Hey, yo, YouTube, what's up? Earlier this morning, someone asked that I respond to a video by Vosh about race and riots. And I think at this point it'd be beating a dead horse. People, you know what I feel about him. I feel that he's exploiting the African American community. And I would just sooner ignore him. I think the situation is dead. We are not compatible with his politics or his lifestyle, and the African American community will never, ever, ever embrace him. But he did do something that's, well, noteworthy in that over the weekend he had a 5-hour Twitch stream for bail of Black Lives Matter participants. And look, I'm not going to tell you that he's only doing it for his own ends. I'm not going to tell you that his mission statement is to basically get notoriety and to see if he could become the next H bomber guy. You should know this already. As a matter of fact, when you checked his video, half the video is him talking about what's he going to do with that money, and the other half is him complaining that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez didn't grace him with a visit, as if she would lend her name to his channel's nefarious, toxic environment. No. See, Vosh is going to keep that money for a while. After all, he has to wait until the super chats come in, which is probably going to be at the end of the month. He also has to wait until he finds the right charity, and then he's going to pay himself a salary that is commensurate with his contributions to the ordeal. In other words, he's going to practice capitalism. Vosh is a capitalist capitalizing on race. This is just water under the bridge shit. You should know this already. But I want to take this time to kind of clear a misconception. I don't generally disagree with Vosh on the biggest meta-narrative of his platform. Sorry about the music. Capitalism and its antagonisms, its material conditions, are going to lead into a revolt of the haves versus the have-nots. My humble suggestion is that we cut it off at the pass and start with a universal basic income for married couples. That's right, I'm merging married couples with a social credit score. That way people will know that this is something of value. Furthermore, being African American, I expect black people to get the first round dibs of it because we are the most vulnerable, and it behooves us the most to start pair bonding and raising our children in a stable environment. A little bit of Andrew Yang, a little bit of China, a little bit of compassionate conservatism. That's my theory on the situation. Vosh has another plan. Vosh has a different plan, and this is going to dovetail into why he spent so much time on Saturday talking about the importance of rioting. Then Sunday he talked about, oh, I didn't mean it like that. It wasn't us. It was the it was agent provocateurs. It's very simple. Vosh believes that the revolution could only come after America is completely destroyed and leveled into ashes, and out of that ashes a new communism will arrive. In other words, he needs to level everyone down to zero. He can't do this himself. He's going to need shock troops. He's going to need his own personal brand of enforcers. He's going to need the abandoned class African American community to be his violent henchmen, to be his destroyers, to, you get what I'm saying. White communists need African Americans to be totally destructive so that we remain a permanent underclass, thereby making elevation and upward mobility completely impossible. That's the gambit. That's the communist gambit. That is the social justice gambit. You have to keep black people down to the point that they have no choice but to overthrow the current system and make themselves part of this new diaspora of communism. We have to stop being ones and individuals, and we have to turn ourselves into zeros and start tearing down the system of things. That's the plan. Now, what Vosh does is that he tells a fable. He tells a nice story of why has to be. The example he used was, well, a particularly good example he used was the white moderate is like a mother watching her son get abused by the boyfriend. And when the son punches the boyfriend and splits his lip, the mother, being sympathetic to the boyfriend, chastises the son. That's the analogy he used. You know the problem with that is? He is equating burning down black communities. He's equating burning down your mother's house with punching your mother's boyfriend in the lip. He is equating fist fighting the boyfriend for a handgun to the death as punching him in the lip. He is purposefully being evocative so you stop thinking and start acting. He wants to motivate you to be a violent warrior for his social change. He wants you to be a zero. A zero is the type of black person who would light himself on fire because he thinks he's going to take the building down with him. A zero is a type of African American who will fist fight a gun wielder to the death until he gets shot, because it's better to die for the struggle than to die in obscurity. A zero is a type of black man who would take a brick from a white communist and throw it through the window of a black-owned mom-and-pop store. Vosh needs zeros. White communism needs zeros. White academia needs zeros to self-destruct, making it impossible for the situation ever to resurrect itself. Vosh also hates ones. He hates twos. He hates everyone that has climbed themselves past the social constraints like Elon Musk or, I don't know, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Same thing with the guys at Chapo Trap House and Michael Brooks. For some reason, they all have the same enemies: producers, doers, thinkers, achievers. They hate the one. They want everyone to be at the zero. And believe you me, when Vosh calls you a subhuman or a lowlife, he is pulling rank. He's above the ashes. He is watching, and you are beneath him. You are a subhuman beneath his foot. That's his little hustle. That's his little shtick. That's why he will never care about African Americans. He will never care about us, because we are nothing but zeros to him. Now, how do you suppose that we're going to change this? Well, as crazy as it sounds, there's really only one way for African Americans to stop the democratic onslaught to our prosperity. And that is if we, hold your horses, align ourselves with virulent white nationalists on an open platform to abolish the 14th Amendment, ending birthright citizenship for South Americans. Why? Because it's the Democrats' number one trump card against the Republicans. If we take away their trump card, we make ourselves players in the game. What we've been doing for the past couple of years is that we have been begging, we have been capitulating, we have been rendering ourselves totally at the disposal of the Democratic Party with our 97% voter attendance rate. And what do we get out of it? Nothing, because we don't generally ask for anything. Joe Biden knows this. That's why he's able to come on to a show like Charlemagne the Gods and specifically tell a black show host that blackness comes through him, through his interpretation of blackness, and that his interpretation of blackness, the only interpretation of blackness, means that you vote for me. He has the cojones to say that because we can't hold him accountable. We have no chips. But if we vote the Democrats out of office on the platform of abolishing the 14th Amendment, it's going to bring them to heel for a change. We're going to be holding the whip. See, the problem with Black America is that We're out of male leadership. This whole journey about Vash has sent me down the path of looking at Louis Farrakhan's work and his Million Man March and his Million More March and his Change or Else March afterwards. And I'm like, what a blown opportunity. What a wonderful opportunity to say that I, Louis Farrakhan, am aligning myself with white nationalists, rednecks, racists, and Republicans so that we end birthright citizenship for the Democrat Party. Because guess what? Guess what? We, as the zeros of the Democratic Party, we blacks as the zeros of the Democratic Party, we're in jeopardy of being obsolete. We have new zeros coming in from South America, and they work hard and they vote hard. And that's what the Democrats have their eye on. They're going to replace us. We will be ineffectual after the onslaught of 20 million or 30 million Hispanic votes. We will be a side issue. We will be babysat by other communities. We will go from third place to fifth place just like that. A wise strategist would cut your enemy's kneecaps before he has a time to hurt you. We have to red wedding the Democratic Party, or else they're going to red wedding us. There's something else about it. See, I look at Louis Farrakhan right now, someone that Vash has called Adolf Hitler of blacks, black Nazi and whatnot, and it's amazing. He's not that frightening. What he's become is basically a fire and brimstone preacher saying America is going to come down and God is going to reign. No, he's become a mystical, evangelical type of leader who really does not convey any threats. He's lost his leadership potential. And in his place, by the way, it's important to know how he lost his leadership potential in the first place. It's not just the fact that he didn't have a plan. It's also because that the media destroyed him as a moniker of black male authority. They destroyed him as that. But in his place, the media, the white communists, they've found a substitute. Two lesbians on Tumblr created the term Black Lives Matter. Why? Because Tumblr is a different kind of hierarchy. Tumblr is a hierarchy of marginalization. So these two lesbians came up with a slogan that is so mincing and pathetic and wincingly weak that it's rose to the top. Black Lives Matter. It could even be said that the premise of Black Lives Matter is to assert a hierarchy of marginalization with blacks being at the top. That's why they always get mad. They always get mad when you say all lives matter. You're taking away their cred. You're taking away their rank in the hierarchy of marginalization. Stop doing that. That's not what black men need. Black men needs firm leadership. Black men needs strong solutions. Black men needs protection, and black men needs to surrender some of that autonomy we have to marriages and to imprint on our children, but I've said that too many times. I'll leave you with this. Men, when it comes to problem solving, men have ways of solving problems. We want the answer now. We want it now, and we want to execute that plan. Women, they want to go through the calculus of solving that problem. They want to go to an emotional journey of how we got there, how my emotional map has been fulfilled. Have I achieved catharsis? Are we going to do anything better? Are we going to do anything to build it? They want to go through the calculus of solving the problem. Gays and LGBTs want to scream on social media, and guess what you're seeing outside in the streets right now? You're seeing gay and LGBT leadership in its fullest. Screaming, whining, mincing, temper tantrums, riots, all that stupidity. I'm sick of it. Black men need to take the lead. That doesn't need to be said more than that, but it's incredible to know how we got there and the forces that are working against us. Black people has to stop the constant barrage of zeros coming into this country, or we will no longer be useful to the white communists who are plotting to tear down America. And ultimately, yeah, Vosh, you're keeping that money. It's going to take at least 30 days for it to come to you, and you're probably going to touch it. So fuck you. You do not care about black people. It's your boy Lucifer signing out.